Hello, 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 my loves. So good to see you on here again. I'm going to pin our topic here so everybody can see what it is when they come in. There we go. Hello, hello. So good to see you. Emotion and vibration. So that's what I want to talk to you about really quickly here. So good to see you. Let me know where you're joining in from. I love coming live with all of you. Hello. Let me know where in the world you are, where you're joining in from. If you're new here, welcome. We've had so many new people join our community, and I'm so excited. I'm Elizabeth Devon. I'm a 10-year psychotherapist, and I also am an embodiment coach. I specialize in conscious relationships, rebuilding relationship blueprints through the nervous system, and attachment trauma. So where are you coming? France, NYC, oh cool, Toronto. So good to see you. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, let me know what questions or insights you have as we talk. So emotion and low vibration. So here's why I really wanted to pop on today. Recently, I've come across a few now, like literally in the past week, people coming on here and talking about, the vibration chart of emotions. I'm not sure if you've seen that, of, the emotions that have the highest vibe, like love and gratitude, and the lowest vibe, shame, anger, fear. It's a spectrum. And that is really cool information. That's not what I'm arguing at all. I'm sure that's just what it is. Every thought, everything, every emotion has a vibration. So when we feel the best, we are more of in a high vibrational state, right? And so I just really want to add something to what's been taught, because I do think that if we miss this really key point, it leads to avoidance of feeling the actual emotion, which ironically will put us right back into a low vibe state. Okay, so I think if this piece of information is not there, it just, to me personally, it feels incomplete. So I want to share it to see if it will benefit you as well. Now, this is based off all of my own personal work and the work that I've done in my psychotherapy practice for 10 years with my clients. I have worked with emotions in so many ways, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And what I'm about to tell you now has helped me feel, literally, I feel happy and joyful most of the time. The version of me 10 years ago would be like, I just want to feel 5% better and not be anxious 24/7. Because that's exactly how I used to feel. Ruminating and anxious, overthinking, fearful, shameful all the time. And now I feel happy and joyful most of the time. And that is my truth. But here's how I got there. By feeling all of my emotions in their fullness. Because here's some truth about emotion. Let us know where you're joining in from. Thanks so much for being here. Emotion in and of itself only lasts up to 120 seconds. Up to 120 seconds. So usually more like 45 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. Okay, and that's when we feel it in its fullness. Okay, there, in every single emotion, even shame, and I'll explain that. Every single emotion bears some fruit for you. Now, the fruit is going to be personal to you. Okay? The way I like to picture emotion and feeling it fully, picture like a little diamond covered by a big ball of fuzz, like in a great big cotton ball or something. So when we lean into the emotion, feel it fully, all the cotton fuzzy stuff on the outside gets wiped away and released, and we get the little diamond, we get the little nugget. Usually it's an insight, or a clarity or okay. And then we feel more relaxed on the other side, more grounded, because we have felt through that emotion. Okay, so let me give you an example of shame. A lot might not want to hear this. And shame, I get it. What you don't want to get tangled up in is the narrative that shame gives you, right? That you are an idiot, that you are messed up or awful in some way. No, of course, that's not the fruit that's going to be there for you. It's about experiencing it and moving through it fully. Because sometimes in shame, I know what my experience has been with shame is that sometimes there can be a little clarity around some guilt, around maybe something I actually did wrong to somebody. Right? That's just an example. Sometimes the fruit of moving through shame is just to show that yourself that you can move through it and release it. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions or anything. Hello, everybody. Let us know where you're joining in from. I'd love to hear. So let me tell you the difference between something. Okay, so first point is that we need to move through emotions in their fullness. I think when we see those charts with the vibration, it can send a mixed message that we need to avoid certain emotions. Right? In some spaces, in some spiritual spaces, even in some coaching spaces that I've been a part of, there's this message that, well, when you feel an uncomfortable feeling, just jump out of it into the better feeling thought or the better feeling thing. And my experience is yes and no. Okay, so it's a slippery slope to avoiding the emotion altogether. Okay. The way I go about it more is that feel the emotion in order to release it so that you will naturally be in a better feeling state effortlessly. It shouldn't be like climbing a mountain to just feel good. Right? Like that shouldn't take effort. Feeling good is our natural state. It's the most effortless thing in the world. And the way that I've been able to attain that, because I have, especially the more I'm always doing my work, right? I'm not done. Nobody's done. I'm never done. But the more that I do it, the more I effortlessly feel good all the time. My relationships keep getting better. My marriage keeps getting better. We're celebrating 10 years of marriage next week. And it just keeps getting better because we both do this work. Okay, so when you feel the emotion in its entirety, you allow it to move through and release. The energy releases from your body, and then you move into a naturally good feeling state with ease. Okay, so remember that feeling good and being in high vibration is your natural state. So let me tell you the difference really quick about being the emotion and feeling the emotion. Okay, so we need to feel it to release it. That helps us naturally be in places of more gratitude and love and clarity in those high vibe places, right? We need to feel it. When we aren't feeling the emotion entirely, okay, when we aren't feeling it, we become it. Is this making sense? Let me know if this is making sense to you. Why do we become it? Because we avoid it. Let me explain it this way. Sometimes the function of thoughts have a lot of functions, right? One function thoughts can have is to avoid emotion. When we overthink, when we get in our heads too much, yes, this resonating good. When we're in our heads, when we're overthinking, One function of that is to stay out of the actual emotion. We're trying to outrun it. We're trying to beat it. Well, if I can overthink this thing, if I can just figure it out, then maybe I can avoid the pain. Maybe I can skip over I spent my whole life there. Okay, so I'm very familiar with this. If I just think about it enough, if I can kind of find the answer in my head, then I don't have to worry about feeling the actual pain or worrying about the actual emotion. Okay, that's one function that thoughts have. So when we're in our head thinking, we're trying to escape the emotion, right? But the thoughts we tend to think are based in avoidance and fear, which just creates more of that bad feeling emotion in the first place. So it becomes a repetition of a cycle. It's a vicious cycle of me trying to avoid the emotion with my thoughts, trying to outrun it, avoid it, which is based in fear. So then I recreate that emotion in the first place because I'm in a fear state, and round and round and round. So I'm just creating more of that low vibe emotion because I'm trying to hop over it and skip out of it. I'm not supposed to be there. You all, I have been there. Even recently, like I keep returning to this work, right? Nobody has it perfectly. Like, oh, I need to stay out of that emotion. And then I return to what I know is true. Like, no, lean into it in order to feel it, to release it, to actually let it out of my body. You either feel it or you become it. That emotion will overtake you. And that's what leads you to be in low vibe more of the time. Because you just become the shame, you become the sadness, you become the anger, you become the fear. Because of the avoidance of the very thing. When we avoid the very thing, we just keep recreating it until you face it. Making sense? I will absolutely repost this. Yep, all this will be reposted so you can come back and you can watch it later. For sure. This is making sense. The avoidance of the thing creates more of it. And then there's just more of that emotion collected in your body until your body is filled with shame or fear or anxiety, whatever it was you were trying to avoid in the first place. So the difference between feeling and being the emotion. Okay? So that's my take on it. Having tried working with emotion a lot of ways myself, like I said, I'm 15 or so years into my own work. This is what's led me to feel the best most of the time. You have to lean into that emotion to feel it fully for the purpose of letting it go. For the purpose of getting that little diamond that I described. The clarity, the fruit, whatever that's going to be for you. Then you naturally are in a more high vibe state, which remember is your natural state to begin with. Being in your natural high vibrational state is never going to come from avoidance, because avoidance is based in fear. You were designed to move through the emotion, release it, get the clarity, and then just be done with it. And the more you practice this, the more effortless it will become. I was terrified of emotions like grief, anger, fear, shame. Now I'm not. Is it still comfortable? No. I've just practiced it enough to know that it's temporary, and to know that every time I do this, I remind myself how much better I feel on the other side. And then feeling good becomes fucking effortless. Okay? I love you all so much. Thank you for being with me today. This will be reposted by this afternoon once I create a little pretty meme for it. It'll be reposted so you can watch it over again. If you rewatch it or if you're watching, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. I love doing this with you all. If you do watch the replay, comment below. Comment, how does this move you? What questions do you have? How does this feel? Okay, so it's just an addition to some of the stuff that's out there on the high vibe, low vibe emotion chart. This is just like a both and thing. Okay? You're welcome. Hi, Juliana. All of you, I love you so much. Have the best day, and I'll see you soon.